This is Car Policy, and it has been a big week for us at Car Policy because we have done nothing but sell and ship hobby cases. And it has been an amazing week because we sold out of the run of 2,500 hobby cases in the space of
4 days.
4 days.
Our first to market product.
And the coolest thing was that our first product, we sold the first color, is sold out in 13 hours.
Something about that.
Yeah, there
13
were
hours.
2 colors on offer, one of which gone in less than a day, half a day.
Were you surprised when it happened?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, pleasantly.
I was both surprised and expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
Why were you expecting it to happen?
Because we've been talking about it for years. and things would be so backwards in this life if we talk about it for 2 years and then nothing moves.
Well, actually, you bring up an interesting point about the 2 years. So we've started Mint. We started Mint almost 4 years ago. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
And so we started Mint about almost 4 years ago. And the first 2 years, all we did was work on the G1, the Mint Case G1, which is our high-end, high-grade flagship product. But through the process of also doing social media at the same time and developing this following that is, people from all walks of life, and I started realizing that I was worried about ostracizing our following because we, who we are and the people that we meet are people from all walks of life, salt of the earth, good people, but most people aren't going to be able to afford the Mint Case G1 because we went all in on it and we used high-grade materials, a lot of technology, a lot of engineering, a lot of design. And so it is a very high-end product.
It's going to be more on the pricier side.
It is an expensive product. It's expensive for us to make them. It's been extremely expensive for us to develop them. And so about 2 years in, I started having this kind of internal conflict where I'm like, I really feel like we need to make a product that anyone can afford, that kids can afford, that, anyone at any income level, at least in the United States, could afford. And so I remember saying to our engineers and designers, maybe we even talked about it internally first, which was, I want to make a case that anyone can afford. And something that's not just for the fancy super cards, but something that people can put their most cherished cards that aren't necessarily worth anything. Maybe it's a card their grandfather gave them that's got all sorts of corners, scuffs, and dings and problems with it, but they still want to display it because it's special to them.
I remember having a call with you about it. I think it was January of 2024 when you came up with the idea for the hobby case.
January of 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
When you came up with the idea. Okay.
Yeah, it was an idea. And I was like, I really want to do a low entry point, price point, and it's something for ungraded cards. And I remember we talked about it internally because I think there was some pushback because we were
So far along on one thing.
Yeah, that was the issue. I think it was our guy Shannon was like, you cannot make a secondary product because you want to focus on the one you already have. Don't start diversifying already. And I was like, well, I think if we do these hobby cases, we'll be able to move on them faster, move it to the front of the line, and get them out into the market
because
sooner.
they're less complex.
Way less complex than the G1. And it's also more of a volume play than a margin play.
It's interesting because where this all came from, you were talking about, well, something more affordable, more for the everyday collector. However, the counter argument there is that, well, with the G1, we were pricing it at a price point that's akin to your iPhone.
Yeah.
And we know that, and we know it's probably cheaper than your iPhone. It is cheaper. It is going to be cheaper than your. However, it is still expensive, and it does require education.
It's still a luxury good.
And it's still a luxury good. So while we think it could be owned by everyone in the way that these are owned by everyone, there's still a learning curve for people and an adoption rate.
Yeah, and that we'd have to change hearts and minds for them to understand what it is. But as you bring up, like with the Apple iPhone, is that this is a luxury good. It's a luxury item, but somehow everyone has one. And so that's what we're hoping to do with the G1, is even though it's a luxury item and it is expensive, we're hoping that everyone at least wants to have one.
But until then,
yes,
that's where hobby cases came to be.
Yeah, it's like a guy that purchased a couple of our hobby cases. He reached out to me, I think yesterday, and he had a really astute comment, which was that the card he wants to put into the hobby case, he goes, I don't want to have the card graded because it was given to me by like my grandmother. It's all frayed. It's got all these problems with it. And he goes, I frankly don't want to ever send it to a grader because why am I going to let some grader tell me what this thing is of value to me? You know? And I thought that was really special because people always get their cards graded to increase the value or to have the value kind of assigned to that card. But if you're sending your card into a grading company, you're letting that grader kind of tell you its worth. And if it's a priceless heirloom to you, then it's priceless.
That's quite an astute observation.
Yeah.
Quite a conundrum. That is very
Yeah.
interesting.
I thought it was super interesting.
That's really
He goes,
cool.
I don't want to have a grader tell me what my priceless artifact,
Right.
that it has assigned value to it. I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool. Isn't that like a thing where you will submit a card to a grader and you will assign it an estimated value, but they will sometimes send it back to you saying, no, this is the estimated value. You have to pay more to get it graded.
Which is really
Yes.
weird if it's like think about it, a one of one.
Yeah.
And there's no comparables. How does the grading company know what the price of that
great question.
collectible
What's the
is?
reference? They're making it up. They're pulling it out of thin
Yeah.
air. And one of one being, I'm going to explain it to the non-initiated, anyone who might not know what a one of one means.
It is the
'Cause
only
that is
card
a-
of that print that exists.
It's the only thing.
Yeah, so the card
Of the-
companies would print a single card as a specialty card and call it a one of one. That's the only one in the world. So
Usually
only one
indicated
person
by
can have it.
a stamp that says one of one or printing.
Yeah, but if you have a one of one, do you get
rarest
your,
of rare.
why get your card graded if it's a
It's
one
a
of
really
one?
good point.
And it's funny seeing one of
Other
ones.
one of ones. They look at other one of ones. I mean, like,
I don't know.
How are you?
It's really funny seeing like one of ones not get perfect grades.
That's so weird.
It's so
Yeah.
bizarre to me.
Yeah,
There are some examples out there.
there's a bunch of examples, but somehow the value is diminished, even though it's a one
Yeah,
of one,
yeah.
and it's a 9 instead of a 10. It's somehow
So bizarre.
Yeah, it's bizarre. There's so many little. That's what I love about the trading card hobby is that there's so many nuances and so many like. It's amazing how many different ways it can be viewed. Like there are the grading people that are obsessed with grading, and they get all hopped up about population reports and set registries, and they get so focused in on that. Or our friend Matt, the New York or the guy who collects all those Mickey Mantles, he's obsessed about centering of cards. And he's gone and done a whole collection of like every single Mickey Mantle card that's a 52 and how it's centered.
It's actually really cool content.
It's an amazing analysis.
It's really cool.
But it's so super niche. And then you have other people that are just ripping packs because they have that gambling need and need to just find huge cards, or maybe they just love ripping packs for the sake of ripping packs. There's endless varieties of people. And so I think that's why we made the hobby case, is we wanted to provide a higher level protection and display option, but not at the level of the Mint Case G1. Something that anyone could afford that would still be nice, that would still be vastly better than a one touch or a top loader or a penny sleeve or any of the other kind of companies that have created new products in the last few years. And it was amazing to finally, after 2 years of R&D and manufacturing and all of it, to finally have these first 2,500 cases, announce it, do this Mickey Mantle quest, and boom, it all sells out like immediately.
Super cool.
How did that feel?
It felt great. And like going back to the original question I was asking Colin, like, why do you think it worked? Yes, we talked about it forever, but it really did sound like people actually wanted something new. And that was a really validating and rewarding. And it was so cool seeing people's reactions to getting the cards that you put in from your collection, including the Mickey Mantles, one of which was found today, which is really, really
The
cool.
1969.
From a guy in New York.
Yeah.
Like,
On Long
super
Island,
cool.
yeah.
And he's a mail delivery
Yeah,
guy,
he
right?
works
He's
mail
he works,
delivery
and he's a
truck, yeah.
Yankees fan.
Yeah.
How cool is that? A
Insane.
Yankees
Yeah.
fan found the first Mickey
I know.
Mantle that we sent out.
We
Crazy.
knew it was kind of a numbers. I mean, we can see where most of the things are going out to, and there's a huge population of New York customers.
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of skewed it a
It's
bit.
cool though.
But it is fun.
It's cool that Mickey's going
Go
back
Jets.
home.
Go Jets.
But another reason why, and go Mets over the Yankees. But another reason why it did succeed, to answer your question, and it's becoming more and more obvious as the days have passed since the sold out thing happened, is the brand equity that you've curated over the last 3 plus 4 years, however long it is.
Wild, right?
It's like you've just developed this loyal following, and then years later introduce a product. Sure, if you want to buy it, but with obviously a very thoughtful approach. And people just want to support you. So many, I talked to so many people on the phone who have purchased because, people had some questions and things. So I was just giving people calls, and I asked them how they found out about us or learned about the sale or about Brian. And every single one, every single 100% hit rate. I love Brian and I want to support Brian. I mean, that is just, you have to, if you're starting a new business, it just goes to show you got to just post the hell out of you just got to go on all the platforms, get your image out there, get your message out there, be authentic, be creative with it, and be experimental. And that's what happened. Now, over years, it just built up and it was natural. It was organic. That's how it is. You can't teach that. There's no book to tell you how to do that other than just listening to me right now. But that's it. There's no science to it. It's soft skills. It's
shocking. I mean, there's a kind of a good thing and a bad thing there, because I love that people are supporting because they've been watching my content. They like it. It resonates with them in some sort of way. Of course, the fear on my side is, what is the percentage of people that bought it as a one-off? And do we have a false inflated view of the demand of our case? What if we do in a second release and the people that we're initially supporting, now we just want to be able to sell cases because we hope people want cases themselves. And it was great to put the cards in.
Yeah.
So that was so kind of the backstory on where that happened was that I had stuck a few of my own cards because I was kind of playing around with the cases, thinking of myself as a collector. Would I buy this? And I do not want to sell anything that I would not buy myself. That was really important to me, even with the G1s. We were ready to ship G1s 2 years ago when we had the black G1. I was in Scotland when you told me it was ready. And I remember you made a video for me, and I was like, okay, it's a case, it's protecting the card. And I wanted it to be better because I realized in that moment I wouldn't buy it myself when I finally saw it. And so with these hobby cases, I'd been putting my own cards in there, and I really liked the look of my cards in there. And then there was that one day where I was shipping a single card to our investor in Canada, in Toronto, and I knew that he was missing one of the Ken Griffey Jr.'s from his collection that he really wanted. He showed me, he collects Griffey Jr. cards. He has an Instagram channel about it. And I realized by looking through his channel that he was missing the 1990 Leaf Griffey card. And so I put the Leaf Griffey card into a hobby case, put it into the Mylar bag, sealed it, and shipped it to him. And I remember thinking that looked really cool, seeing a card that in the case inside the packaging.
as a bonus.
I thought it looked really cool. And so that's when it was kind of like, and maybe there was something before that triggered all that, but that's my memory.
I'm pretty sure that's what
That was the event.
Yeah.
And then I remember going into my own collection and being like, I have like 10,000 cards that I'm never going to do anything with. They're just sitting in the closet. I mean, I love doing the giveaways at Little League games, but there's also a lot of cards I have that are kind of, in many ways, too good to just give out at a Little League game, but too not good enough to sell, or and they're in that kind of
You could
limbo
part ways
space.
with if you really wanted to.
And I'd be very happy to part
Yeah.
ways. And so all of a sudden, when that kernel of an idea of why don't we stick a card into every single case and actually put a lot of good cards in there, like a lot of autographs. I had like 100 autographs sitting upstairs and a bunch of parallels and refractors and all these cards. It would be fun to insert them in and see how people reacted. And so we ended up testing that out. I think I brought down like 10 or 15 cards, put them in hobby cases. You sealed them all up. And I think we saw them all. You took a photo of them and it just looks so cool. We shared that with like Steve Aoki. We shared that with the guys at Topps. And it looked so cool that I'm like, okay, every card every mint case that we ever sell has to have a card in as a bonus. And I think that is what sold these cards.
I
these
think so
cases.
too. I think so too. I think it was you were giving away some really cool cards, including all of your Mickey Mantles, which had a lot of sentimental value, and you shared the stories on your website, which is still up there if anyone wants to check it out. But really cool stuff. But with that, you were giving people an opportunity to see and experience a better way to display and interact with their collections. Because you can just say there's a case in the market and it's $25, and most people are going to be like, "What the heck? That's way more expensive." But once people actually experience it for the first time, they'll get to understand it.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? Every single person that's ever held a hobby case and has messed about with it understands that it's that much better.
Yeah. Everyone's posting about them, like they're collecting with their sons and their dads, and it's pretty cool.
I love the stories that are coming out.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
incredible. And they are more expensive than anything else that's out there, but they're also way better.
Way better.
In fact, they cost us a lot to make. That's the thing some people don't realize is that they're actually quite expensive to make because we wanted to do them right.
I don't think this is going. I don't think it's an artificially inflated demand just because it's from you, or because it's the first one. I think there's a novelty associated with it, no matter which quest run we do, because if we keep doing these quests, these chases, each of those offerings are going to be very interesting and have their own thoughtful stories associated with them. And you'll talk about them, we'll write about them, we'll put them on the website. So they're always going to have that same level of interest, I think. And we keep growing the following too. It's not like, so there's always going to be new people learning about this stuff. It's not like it's ever going to get stale, because we're always changing up the strategy. We're always changing up the quest, because we always want to keep it fun. If we're not going to do it if we don't think it's fun, why would we do it?
Yeah.
Because we're always bringing value to anyone who purchases a hobby case, because they're always going to get a hobby case.
They're always getting a great case,
which is again what they're purchasing, but there's something fun and exciting about potentially getting something more.
Yeah.
And it's just you buy a lotto ticket, you scratch it, you get nothing. You buy a pack of cards, sometimes you honestly do get nothing. But with a hobby case, you're buying a hobby case, but you could get a Mickey Mantle or something else.
And somebody did today.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's cool. So cool.
It's super awesome.
Like my first thought I was like, man, I remember where I was when I bought that 69 Mantle, and I thought I was so lucky to finally be able to own a 69 Mantle. But the buzz that I got by seeing the mailman in New York find that Mickey Mantle was worth more to me,
to be clear,
than the buzz of owning that Mickey Mantle.
Not the mailman that stole it from someone that he was delivering it to.
No, he's actually a mail carrier.
He happened to be a mail carrier.
Yeah.
That's his profession.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that.
Did he deliver it to himself?
Did he deliver it to himself?
Wow.
A little
That's really
fishy,
cool.
huh?
A little fishy.
It does seem a little fishy there.
Schmeh.
No, but no, I'm pleased about it. I love that he's so excited. He said it's...
Bless you.
Hey, I'm allergic to success. I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness! I hate it.
I'm just kidding. We're not. That's not going to be in the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna edit. We're gonna edit that one out, aren't we?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to success.
What I meant to say was I'm allergic to like little small wins and victories.
Well,
because it's not. It was just, look. We've had a lot of fun.
Man, what an amazing week it's been, though. Like for everyone that's listening. What's really cool is how much effort, like this little team right here, the three of us, managed to get all these cases shipped here. Sam and Colin really especially, man, Sam, you spent how many hours making quality control, making sure that every single case was perfect pulling out any dud cases.
I mean, there's a lot of I can't you can't single me out. There was so much like late hours calling.
Well, things
like,
because like
so
Colin was like busting his ass getting, let's see, our manufacturer.
I'll beat that out.
We'll bleep that one out. So our Colin, the amount of time that you spent getting our manufacturer to get these to us and get them to us perfected is incredible. You, Sam, doing all the quality control, all the late nights of putting cards into cases, sealing them up, putting them into bags, having doing all the fulfillment, putting them into their mailers, taking them to the mail.
It was fun, man.
It actually was
a
kind
lot
of fun.
It was really cool. Again, it was rewarding.
we had to do it, and I wanted to. Yeah, it was long and it was hard, but it's also I wanted to do it. It's like the guy who washes the dishes eventually can become the restaurant owner. It's like that owner knows every job and every element of that business, front to back. I don't want to have anything go on in this business that I haven't touched,
Yeah.
because then you can't speak to it authentically, and then you also care about it. There's more passion involved with it as well. So we had to do it. And my favorite part about doing all that is that all of the efficiencies that presented themselves that we discovered along the way, it's like, oh, cool. Next time we do this, we could do it in half the time and twice as better.
It was cool seeing you incorporate a lot of those efficiencies into the system as we went along, like using Shopify and how to batch things. And all of a sudden we're speeding up the process times 3. And then somehow magically we're able to we shipped every single mailer
The next day, yeah.
the day after anyone ordered. It was incredible.
Yeah, we got real quick, or even the day of, and then we got to the day of.
So
but even before Shopify, when we were all the preparation, even as soon as we were opening up cases in Sammy, quality control, and all those things were presenting themselves. And now we know how to do it. Now we're like real excited to get this next batch, and go ahead, make it 2 or 3 times as large. We'll do it in half the time.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
And it is challenge accepted. I think, I want to keep the team as small and nimble as possible for as long as possible. And I'm looking forward, like my goal is to move, this is my stretch goal, but I think we can move 1 million hobby cases a year. Not this first year, but I think in 2026 onwards, I think we're going to move 1 million a year because they are so cool. Everyone loves them. Everyone that experiences loves them. And now people are asking us, when are you restocked? How do I get some? Oh, I missed out. I want to be a part of the next quest. I think we can move 1 million a year. That's my goal and my guess. But I love but the most important thing here is Steve Jobs once said, don't ship junk. That was, that has really resonated with me. Yeah. And that's how I feel about this. I said this earlier, I cannot sell something that I don't believe in. I cannot ship something that I don't like. And I will not ever sell an item that I would not buy myself. And so it felt really, really good that every one of those cards that we put into cases, put into mailers, and shipped all around the world, I genuinely, every case I shipped, I was like, that person's going to really enjoy that. And it feels really good to ship a product that people are really enjoying right now. It's pretty special.
And that's car policy.
That's car policy. Thanks for listening.
Sure is.